going across the street. We're going to be going on a short trail, usually about 30 to 45 minutes. Half the trail is paved, half of it's not paved. So when we're on the trail, making sure to look out for any cracks or bumps that are in the trail, because it can be a little bit uneven in some areas. And when we go next to the Caldera edge, it can get very windy, so watching out for your hat not to blow off too.
Okay. How do you become a ranger?
So I became a ranger my junior year of high school. Someone who kind of recruits people came to my school, and they kind of put out the idea of working in the park, and then I got hired through the park as a youth ranger, and then I switched to Kupu this year.
So you're from the Big Island?
Yep, I'm from Pahoa.
Where?
Pahoa.
Pahoa,
Yeah,
right down the street.
Yeah.
Oh, good. And you still live in Pahoa?
I do, so yeah.
It's quite a drive.
Yeah, a little bit. About an hour each way. So it's not too bad. It's definitely worth it working up here. Lots of fun.
And this is a government job, yeah?
Yeah, so through Kupu, I'm half funded by the government, half funded by the state.
Oh.
So we're gonna go ahead and stop right here in the shade, and we'll talk about ohi'a trees. So this is ohi'a lehua. So ohi'a is the tree and lehua is the blossom that you see. Right here, this tree has the stress roots coming down, so these come down whenever the tree is in stress. It can help the tree kind of absorb extra moisture in the air.
In stress?
Yeah, either just from like the volcanic gases that kind of cause them to be a little bit stressed out. Maybe all the plants underneath it are kind of piling up on its roots, not getting enough water from underground, so it's getting from the air, from the moisture in the air. And then inside of its leaves, the stomata. So stomata, a lot of trees do have stomata, but the ohi'a leaves are super special because their stomata are able to open and close basically on command. So usually they're open all day, they close at nighttime, but during volcanic episodes, they actually are able to close their stomata so they're not breathing in all the volcanic gases. So they can actually hold their breath for up to 3 weeks at a time. So super cool.
It's funny they don't like the ashes because they're thriving around the volcano.
Yeah. They're one of the first species to start growing after a lava flow is cooled down. They don't need any soil really, just a small crack. The wind will blow the seed into the crack with a little bit of moisture. The tree will start to grow. It'll develop roots, break down the rock. The leaves will start falling down, create even more soil for all the other plants around it to kind of start growing and just repopulating the forest after a lava flow. So it's kind of the keystone species of the rainforest here.
Yeah, because I was looking in the Caldera and some trees are growing, and this person said that's probably ohi'a.
Yep, they grow pretty much all over. You can see them up in Volcano, in Kona, Hilo, all over the island. Even at higher elevations they grow too. I think they stop growing maybe around 6,000 to 8,000 feet. So a little bit higher than we are now, around 4,000 feet elevation right now.
Oh, okay.
Pretty cool tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, lately Rapid Ohi'A Death has been kind of a big problem.
Yeah.
Even here in the park. Because people don't really know about it. They'll be walking around and just unknowingly spread it. If they break off a branch, it really exposes the tree to Rapid Ohi'A Death. And that's how a lot of the trees are getting diseased, by people breaking them.
So how do they curb it from spreading?
It's pretty hard. So if the tree does get cut down or broken, they can actually seal it. So we're gonna go this way. So instead of just leaving the tree exposed and having that kind of wound open, they'll put a sealant on top of it so that tree doesn't have an open wound, and it's a lot harder to get the Rapid Ohi'A disease whenever it's sealed.
Oh.
But whenever the tree is not broken, it's a little bit harder to get it, but the tree can still get it. So it's one of the problems we're kind of dealing with right now and trying to figure out how to really stop the spread. About that. So this is a luhe, you might have known it. This plant does look a little bit invasive because it's growing all over the trees here, but its actual purpose is to grow really quickly and die really quickly. So all of this brown luhe you see is not diseased or anything. Its purpose is to die quickly so it can create more soil for the plants all around it. So all of this all behind you, completely natural, just creating more soil for other plants to grow. So it's an endemic plant, meaning only found here in Hawaii, native. So there's native endemic, and non-native. And to be endemic, it's only found here, and to be considered native, it had to get here all by itself. So either through wind, water, or wings. Not too sure exactly how oluhe got here. Came over many years ago. But this plant over here, you might be familiar with it. This is Kahili ginger or Himalayan ginger. This is super invasive. Only came here in the 1940s. This plant here was brought by the superintendent's wife of the park. So it actually started here in the park and it spread all over the island basically. This plant is very invasive. Even though it is a ginger, it doesn't have any beneficial uses. It's an ornamental plant, so you can't eat it. It's non-edible. Usually there's a big yellow flower on top of it, and underground it has these huge root systems that spread out. And when you cut the plant, it sends a stress signal down to the roots that causes it to grow even more. So it's really hard to get rid of this plant. But here in the park, they have a volunteer program where people from anywhere can come, cut the plant, and then the next day they'll come and spot treat it with a little bit of poison, so they're not spraying it everywhere. They're going and putting exactly where they cut, so when they're sending that stress signal down, it's also sending the poison down with it.
I thought it was really nice, but it's not a good plant.
No, it's very invasive.
Invasive.
Yeah, you can find it kind of growing all over the island. They started to sell it at farmers markets a while ago, not realizing how invasive it was. People saw it was pretty, and then they were buying it at the markets, putting it in their yards. You know, natural life cycle birds are kind of eating the seeds and then going pooping and planting more seeds, and it's just spreading all over. So even you'll find the ginger up in the trees, maybe like a bird flew in the trees, laid some or pooped in the tree, and the seeds grow from there. So you'll find it kind of all over. It can grow anywhere. In the Himalayas, it has that very cold winter, so it has a natural dieback season. But here in Hawaii, it doesn't get very cold, especially here at the summit. Even though it is a little bit colder than most areas, it doesn't get cold enough to actually kill the plant and have the natural dieback season. So it's kind of growing year round. It's gotten a little bit better.
Yeah. There's not as much now.
They're doing a lot of work to try to keep them growing as small as possible and not kind of spreading all over, but it's still a pretty hard plant to get rid of because of the stress signal that it sends out.
I would like to take that home.
It's a pretty plant.
Does it adapt to all kinds of weather?
It does, so it can thrive in the winters when it's super rainy, or even when it's super hot outside. It just kind of continues growing.
Like a desert. And getting back to the ulehi?
Oluhe. Oluhe.
Uluhe.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a thorny one, huh?
This one doesn't have too many thorns.
Oh.
So this one, it just has like the smooth branches. And then the oluhe you see here, so this is when it's just starting to grow. It kind of spirals. It starts as a little purple spiral coming out of the ground. The fiddleheads, I don't see any over here. But they're purple, and then they come out straight out of the ground, and then they kind of unravel into this.
Oh, because when I used to go hiking in the mountains, it was full of that, and it used to scratch me
really?
a lot. Yeah,
These ones don't have any thorns.
They don't. Oh.
So there might be a different species that has thorns, but here at the summit in the park, we just have this oluhe that doesn't have the thorns.
Oh.
This right here, this is pukiave. So it has little berries on it. So I think, this one has a little bit more. So they come in all different colors, red to white, to even pink. The berries, they have more of like a pear or apple taste, but the texture of it is just like styrofoam, and it has a big seed in the middle. So it's an edible berry, but I don't really enjoy them, just because of the texture. But they're one of the Nene's favorite food. They like to eat the pukiave berries, and they love ohelo as well. They eat all different types of berries and seeds. So this plant historically was used for decongestion, so they would burn the pukiave, and it would just really help clear its sinuses, like inhaling the smoke.
Do they make jam out of that?
Usually make ohelo jam, so a different berry. It is a red berry, but it's a lot juicier. I don't think there's any ohelo berries on this trail.
Oh.
A little bit more in the rainforest side, because we're right on the edge of the Ka'u Desert and the rainforest, so it's kind of a little bit too dry for the ohelo berries right here.
Oh.
And then this is a'ali'i. So this plant is used a lot for lei making, so they'll use the little seed pods right here and make lei with them. It's also good for dyes. If you're wanting to like dye clothes or anything, you can use the seed pods for dye.
Oh. And it only grows in the mountain.
It grows at higher elevation.
Mm.
And this can be in red, and it can come in orange colors too.
Oh.
Yeah, not as much, just because of Rapid Ohi'a Death too. When you're breaking off the flower, it's exposing the tree to the disease.
Yeah. So that is why they kind of banned it from the hula community, huh?
Yeah, I think that's why, just because Rapid Ohi'a Death.
Oh. So when you break the flower, it's an invitation for the Rapid Ohi'a.
Yeah, there's also a mo'olelo that when you're breaking off the flower, you're separating ohi'a and lehua. So there's a story about ohi'a, and he's just like, have you heard the story? He's like a super handsome man, and he met lehua, this beautiful girl, but ohi'a, he is kind of like he's higher up in like the chiefs, and then lehua, she's just like a town girl. She doesn't really have any type of power, and they started to fall in love, but since of their kind of power difference, they couldn't be together. And then Ohi'a ended up meeting Pele, and Pele had a crush on him, but he loved lehua. And Pele found out about lehua and got really mad, and they were kind of fighting a little bit, and then Pele ended up turning Ohi'a into a tree because he didn't want to be with her. And lehua was very, very sad. She would go over to the tree and cry and just kind of beg to the gods to bring Ohi'a back. They didn't want to go against Pele, so they decided to turn her into a blossom so they could be connected in the tree and the blossom together. So when you're breaking off the flower, you're breaking them apart, and then usually it can start to rain because she's crying because you're separating them.
Oh, I like that tale.
So that's another reason I've heard not to break off the lehua blossoms.
Yeah. No eruption coming up?
Right now it's probably going to be about another 1 to 2 weeks. The last one was just on Tuesday.
Oh, I'm going to be here another 5 days.
You never know. Maybe it'll erupt. The last time it erupted, it did erupt a little bit before the prediction date.
Okay. That's good news. And does it always erupt over there?
For the last 7 months, it's been erupting in this area. During a few of the eruptions, it has kind of created different fissures, more on the left-hand side over there. But majority of the eruptions have been coming straight from the big vent right in front of us, where all the steam is coming out of, all the gases. That vent has put out fountains that are over 1,000 feet tall. So super high fountains. I think the highest recorded one right now is 1,200. So the highest recorded fountain in park history was 1,600 feet, and that was from Kilauea. So these fountains are getting pretty close to record-breaking heights. So it's a really cool eruption cycle that we're kind of experiencing right now, because eruptions about every week and they're fountaining up into the air. It's pretty different from what we've seen in the past. So super cool experience right now. And like you mentioned earlier, this whole area did drop down pretty recently. So it dropped down in 2018. So this whole flat piece that right in front of us, that's a little bit further down, went all the way across to that back wall there. And then in 2018, Pu'u'o stopped erupting, and that kind of caused the magma to not really have anywhere to go since it wasn't erupting anymore. So the magma actually drained out of the summit underground and went 30 miles towards a subdivision called Leilani Estates in Pahoa. And since the magma chamber over here was empty, with all the earthquakes of the magma moving away, it caused a lot of collapse events. So this area collapsed 1,600 feet in depth. So it was very, very deeper. Since then, it's risen quite a lot. It's almost back up to its original state, but not quite yet. When it was going underground to Leilani Estates, it actually opened up in somebody's backyard, took about 700 homes out in the process of that eruption, but it also added about 800 acres of new land onto the island. So even though it did destroy a lot, it also created a lot in the process of that eruption. You can even see a piece of the road that fell in the crater about halfway down. Come right over here, where that flat piece is halfway across from us. That's the road that used to go all the way around. That road has been closed since 2008 though, because of volcanic gases, but it did fall in 2018.
2008?
Yes.
Because I remember running around that road.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
Because I'd say approximate the rim, 10 miles.
Wow, you ran the whole thing?
Yeah, I used to be a runner, so we'd come up here and we'd go early in the morning, we'd run.
That sounds like a pretty nice run.
Yeah, it was nice until they closed the road.
Yeah, just because, so you can see how all the gases are kind of blowing in the same direction. The trade winds are pretty much constantly blowing the wind over there. And in 2008, a lava lake formed, so there's pretty much constantly volcanic gases coming out. And it's not safe to have people kind of back around that area because the volcanic gases can cause people to be disoriented. So there has been cases in the past, like people go out into the closed areas, they're in the volcanic gases, they get too disoriented and they do fall over the edge. So having the volcanic gases in an area that's open to the public can be a little bit dangerous.
Yeah.
So probably this area eventually will fill back up. Shield volcanoes do have a natural kind of cycle of collapsing and then rebuilding. Kilauea is still very, very young, only at 4,000 feet elevation right now, but scientists are predicting that it can get another 9,000 feet higher, so about as big as Mauna Loa or Mauna Kea. So it's going to grow a lot before its life cycle ends. So right now we're directly over the hot spot, so we're getting kind of straight, direct source from the hot spot. But over time we're going to slowly move off of it.
And KMC is in a safe zone?
Yeah, there hasn't been too much effects from this area. So KMC recently, they did have a lot of tephra and Pele's hair kind of come from an eruption because it is still pretty close, and the wind actually shifted and blew all the volcanic gases, and it was during an eruption. So when eruptions happening, Pele's hair and tephra, so kind of like volcanic glass, volcanic rocks, are kind of falling down on the overlook areas, which can be a little bit dangerous. But as far as like earthquakes and collapse events, KMC should be fine. This whole area did collapse down about 500 years ago, so the summit was a lot higher, and then it collapsed all the way over to the highway area, and this whole area collapsed all the way to Kilauea. So we're right inside of the one of the calderas right now, and then over time there's been other collapse events that where we can see kind of the tiers. So we're right inside the caldera right now, and the other side of the caldera wall is on the other side of the highway. So we're in the volcano right now, which is pretty cool. Yeah, right here.
Oh, I thought this is the caldera.
This is the caldera that is the main one right now, the most recent caldera. And then about 500 years ago, there was a big collapse event up here. So we would have been standing probably maybe about 60 feet higher just because of how the land was. And then it all collapsed down all the way to the highway and had this flat area, and then it collapsed down another time. We can see the caldera here.
So this is considered a caldera?
Yep, so calderas are at the summit area, and they're usually over 2 miles wide. So we have this caldera, and the back wall over there is considered the crater, Halemaʻumaʻu Crater. And then this is Kilauea caldera.
Oh, okay.
And then we have many other craters all over the park. So Chain of Craters, I think, has maybe 13 different craters along that road, or maybe I think 8 to 13 craters. There's lots to see along Chain of Craters. All the craters are pretty different. We have an echo crater, so if you yell into the crater, you'll hear your voice come right back. It's a super cool one. That is, I think that's the Puahi crater. It's about 10 minutes from the lava tube, so still pretty close up the road. It's a smaller crater, and that's why it echoes back at you just because of how it's shaped. It's a pretty cool thing, and it's fun to do as well.
Yeah.
As long as it's not too windy, you can hear your echo pretty well.
Oh, okay. It's by the Thurston lava tube?
Yeah, if you drive a little bit further down, it's going to be right past Devastation on your left-hand side when you're driving down the road. There'll be a little sign in the parking lot.
Oh, and a 10-minute walk.
Probably a 2-minute walk. It's
2
about
minutes.
10 minutes from the lava tube, though. A 10-minute drive.
From the lava tube?
Yes.
2-minute walk from the road?
Yeah, there's a whole parking lot. You'll park there. Usually it's not too busy. There's really no one there ever.
I gotta go there then.
Yeah, it's definitely. When we go back over there, I can mark on your map exactly where.
Okay. Yeah, I'm only good for short hikes.
Yeah, this one's a pretty short one.
Perfect for me.
Perfect. There's been 32 eruptions since December 23rd, 2024. So it's been about every week or 2 weeks there's been an eruption, which is quite a lot. And we don't really know how long exactly this kind of chain of eruptions are going to go on for. It could go on for years, like the Pu'u'o eruption that lasted around 36 years, or it could be a lot shorter than that. We don't know until it stops.
And you don't know when the big one is coming?
Not really. It's really hard to tell, so everything's monitored at the surface. You can't really monitor the volcano underground where everything's actually happening. It's way too hot underground there. But on the surface, they're able to measure the microradians of inflation. So a microradian is about as big as a nickel, as thick as a nickel, so it's very, very thin. But the volcano actually inflates right before an eruption, so that's one way they can actually tell. We'll go this way. So the last time it erupted, it was around 24 microradians of inflation before it actually erupted. And I think right now it's around 8 microradians maybe, so it's almost halfway there right now. Still has a little bit more to inflate before it can actually erupt. And all of this on the ground you see here is Pele's hair from the recent eruptions when it all blew over here.
This?
Yeah, all the gold shiny hair that you see, or the volcanic glass.
What do you call that?
So it's Pele hair. It's a volcanic glass. It's kind of like a fiberglass too, so if you touch it, it'll break off into your fingers, make you pretty itchy.
Oh.
It's formed when there's a fountain of lava coming out of the ground. The wind will blow through it. As it's solidifying in the air, it gets stretched out super thin, and it's kind of blowing around in the air.
Oh. You know, I thought Pele's hair was that air plant.
Yeah, there's two types of Pele's hair. There's the volcanic one and the plant one.
Oh, okay. Not related.
Not related.
No.
We'll go ahead and stop right here too. So this is an Ama'u fern, but this is a pretty big Ama'u fern. And the way you can tell the difference between an Ama'u fern and a Hapu'u fern are the actual structure of it. So the Ama'u fern has the big long one here in the middle, and it has the ferns coming off on the side here. And then over here is a Hapu'u fern. This one's a little bit smaller. It has the long stem in the middle here, and then it has stems coming off the side with the ferns on it. So this is the female version of the plant, and this is the male version. The female and the male also have different pulu. So the female version, the Hapu'u pulu, is very, very soft. It's golden. It was used for pillow stuffing for a period of time. So there's actually a pillow factory here in the park. So the pulu is located right in the middle. That tree's a little bit further in the back, so it's harder to get to. But this is the male version of the pulu. So it's not as soft. You can kind of feel it here if you wanted to. If you want to feel the female version, I would go in between Volcano House and where the visitor center is being remodeled. There's a bunch of hapu'u out there. They have really, really soft pulu. It's golden. It's growing right in the middle. It's different than this one. It's a lot softer. And it's good for antibacterial as well. So if you have like
this is a male?
Yeah, so this is a ma'u fern.
Ma'u.
So what you can remember, the males have the tougher fur. It's kind of like more like a beard, and the females have very soft, like fluffy hair right in the middle. And
they need to grow together to multiply?
They don't have to grow together. They can grow a little bit further apart. This is just a good example because they're so close to each other. And the tree ferns are a really cool plant because they grow really tall and then they fall down on the forest and they continue growing straight back up. So it's kind of like an inchworm where they kind of just inch along the forest. They're technically a walking tree fern because they can move across the rainforest floor. This is iliahi or sandalwood. It doesn't really have too much of a smell until you process it, but it's used properly in candles. Here in Hawaii, this plant was really sought after, so they actually had to put a ban on it because they were actually burning down whole forests to actually just find this plant, because when you burn it, you can smell it. So as soon as they would smell the sandalwood, they would put out the fire so they could find this tree. But in the process, they would burn down whole forests just looking for it. So it's a very cool plant.
Sandalwood.
They make tons of candles out of it, lotion.
You have to tell me where that pillow factory is.
It was down Chain of Craters. There's not a road to get to it anymore. There is a hiking trail, but it's about 7 miles each way out there.
Oh.
So it's a little bit further away. I'm not too sure why they picked that exact location for a pillow factory. It was pretty far away. The pillow factory didn't do too well. They did go out of business pretty quickly, because if you can imagine sleeping on some plant, it does kind of fall apart pretty quickly. So the pillow factory went out of business.
Oh. So how do the workers get to work?
I'm not sure exactly. They probably would go on horses, or they had carriages. There has been a lot of eruptions in that area since the pillow factory. So Mauna that eruption took out Chain of Craters Road, and they rebuilt it. So it could have been a road going out to the pillow factory, and then the Mauna eruption could have taken out that road.
Oh.
This was a pretty long time ago.
Oops.
Yeah, there's a lot of the roots under the tree, or the roots from the trees will grow under the concrete and push up all this area.
Any particular tree, or all the trees are doing that?
This looks like the koa trees are putting the cracks in here.
Oh.
So this is a koa tree. So this is what they look like when they're first growing. So these are all the leaves here, and then all of this you see on the ground are technically not the koa leaves. These are phylloids, which are stems. So whenever they're just starting to grow, they need a lot of moisture. So they have these leaves that collect extra moisture, and as the tree grows, it needs more sunlight. So they have the phylloids that are able to collect more sunlight. So these are the same trees. These are its leaves, and then those are technically not leaves, which are pretty confusing because majority of the tree has the green phylloids.
But the koa does not have leaves. They have phylloids.
Yeah, so it has some leaves. So on that tree right there, you can see it has a mix of phylloids and leaves.
Yeah.
Occasionally they do have just fully phylloids, but sometimes they do have a mixture of phylloids and leaves.
Mm. And it takes a long time to grow. Huh?
Yep, koa trees do take a very long time to grow. They can grow super big around, and then they would use a single koa tree to make a single canoe. And then if you look at the phylloid, it looks just like a canoe almost. This one's a little bit rounded, but some of them are more flat like this one. And it looks pretty similar to a canoe. So that's one way you can remember that the koa trees made canoes, so it's a pretty cool. Or it kind of looks like a banana too.
Mm.
And those birds are pheasants.
Pheasants.
Police pheasants.
Mm.
So not native, they are invasive. This is some more of the ginger, and you can actually see the root system right here.
This is the kahili.
Yeah, this is all the roots too. So these are the stuff that grows really bad, and it's growing all over here, kind of spreading out. And if you look up, this tree isn't doing so well because the kahili ginger is choking out the roots underground.
So you're gonna cut it and poison it?
Yeah, hopefully some comes through soon. I don't, the poison's very regulated, so I can't just come in with it.
It's not gonna affect the tree.
Nope, they just put it directly. So if they cut this right here, they would put the poison only right here on the stem, and then it would go down to these root systems. And these ones have been poisoned in the past. They're a lot wider than they usually are. But kahili ginger grows back pretty quickly. So the pheasants are one of the big things that spread the ginger seeds. So the pheasants will just eat the seeds, go to the bathroom, and lay the seeds everywhere.
Oh.
So the two invasive species are kind of helping each other out, spread even more, because the pheasant's getting fed and the ginger's getting spread.
And are the pheasants off limits?
In the park, they are. Kind of hunting anything in the park isn't allowed, but there are lots of pigs in the park as well that people always want to hunt, but it is not allowed in the park.
Oh.
There is a separate team of people in the park who do work on the pig hunting.
Mm. So these gingers, they're all kahili.
Yes, so all of the ones up here are majority kahili ginger. There's lots of different types of ginger though. Some of them are pretty beneficial, like the avapuhi. It can be used as shampoo. There's edible ginger as well. But all of the ones up here with the big yellow flowers, so these were the flowers, are not edible. They're all kahili ginger. They're super fast spreading and don't really have any uses.
No use, huh?
Nothing that I've heard
Except for floral arrangements.
Yeah, making money, selling at market is probably the only beneficial use. back at the start if you have any questions or.
No, I think you answered it all.
Perfect.
I mean, I ask when I think about it,
Yeah.
I ask. Especially since I'm the only one.
Yeah, it's more like a conversation.
Yeah. Help protect our forests.
So this is one of the Rapid Ohi'a Death. So you can scrub your shoes, and those bottles have isopropyl alcohol in them, and then it'll help stop the spread of Rapid Ohi'a
Where's
Death.
the alcohol?
Right on these bottles right here.
Oh,
So you can like drop
okay.
the sign and scrub your shoes.
Yeah.
And then take this alcohol and just spray your shoes. So it's also good for invasive plants. People coming from wherever they live on the mainland, bringing it over here. Usually it's not already introduced here. So when they bring it on their shoes, bring it into the park, it kind of spreads really quickly, depending on what it is. So this is one way we kind of keep it.
So I'm from Honolulu. I don't have to worry.
There's probably different invasive plants over there, but it's less of a problem than coming from different countries, different states.
Okay.
It's also free shoe cleaning. You just gotta scrub your foot a little bit.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. I can show you on your map about that Echo Crater if you're still interested.
Oh, yeah.